In every moment of darkness there is light. But will you find the light, or will you mope with everyone else?
Hey ballers, welcome to episode 106. I've known Morad Fiki for quite some time. I recently ran into him at an industry event. Then we got to talking. Then I got to learn about his background and how he transitions from a Marine to a top producing agent to an investor. So today I invited Morad here to share his journey with us and what it takes to get to the top. Hey,
Yes.
Morad, welcome to the show.
Yes, I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much.
I am excited to have you too. Man, I've never seen anyone that has more energy than you.
Thank you. Well, it's only because I'm a real estate baller.
That's it. Yes, you are a real estate baller. So, hey, what are you working on today?
We just had a closing for a longtime client of mine and a really good friend. She bought a home in Sienna Plantation, so I swung by there. And then I had met a buyer at another house, and now we're doing this awesome podcast. So just having a good time selling Houston. Houston's for sale, and I'm here to sell it. So I'm so excited.
Hey, I'm very honored. You know, most of my guests show up in like a baseball cap. You show up with a suit, and that tells me you're serious about what you do.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. This is me. This is me every day. So
Yeah.
sometimes I meet people who are like, "Man, you didn't have to dress up for me." I'm like, "This is me every day." So I got to dress for success. I
That is
really
it.
believe that.
Yeah. Yeah. I was reading a book and in this book it's about networking and the success and all that. And they said, you gotta dress the part until you earn it. Then maybe, if you're Oprah, then you can wear whatever you want, right?
Yeah, well, I really believe in, opportunities find you, but you also have to place yourself in the way of opportunities. So
Yeah.
I believe that,
So
I'm always pushing the boundary and making it happen. I got to make it happen.
you do make it happen. But I know you got a lot going on today, but let's go back and maybe give the audience an introductions because we recently had this conversation and your background is really really impressive. So maybe take a few minutes and share with us, you know who's Morad.
Wow, who is Morad? So yeah, I'm originally from Houston, Texas. I wasn't born here, but I came as a baby, and I've been raised all my life in Houston. So I feel that Houston is my home. Um, I went to school at Stratford High School, so just right here in Spring Branch. That's on the west side of Houston. That's kind of where I was raised, and I feel it's home for me. Straight out of high school, I went into the Marines. I enlisted. I felt the higher calling to serve, and it was those early years in the Marines that taught me discipline, hard work ethic, and a never surrender attitude. We will achieve the objective or we will die trying. They really believe that, and they taught me
Yeah.
that. So now that's why I always want to push the boundaries. I always want to take it to the next level. I want to wow myself. I want to provide myself and my family with opportunities I didn't have growing up. And I believe that that comes with hard work and the sky's the limit. We can achieve anything if we put our mind to it, and we also never give up. There's so many people that just quit right before they achieve, greatness. Right before they hit the goal, they quit.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you're working so hard, it can feel monotonous, but it takes a while to get that momentum going. Once you get that momentum going, it's like boom, you
That's
know
it. Boom.
yeah. Yeah, and that's why I say boom, because I am a stick of dynamite. I know that if I never quit, I will not fail. I cannot fail. And
Never
so
quit.
I'm
I
willing
love
to
that.
keep going while everyone else quits, you know. So
So you were born and raised in Houston,
yeah. Oh
and
yeah.
then you went to the Marine.
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
long were you in the Marine?
So I was on active duty for 4 years. I was stationed in a number of places, but I spent the majority of my time in Marine Corps Air Station Yuma, Arizona, also known as the armpit of the United States. It would get like 135 degrees during the summertime, so it felt like you were in an oven. And when I was discharged honorably, I came back to Houston. I got my bachelor's degree in accounting and finance, but then I realized I didn't want to go into accounting. So again, I felt the need to the calling to serve, and I joined the Navy. But this time I became an officer, and I was going through flight training, and then I went through a reduction in force. So when President Obama cut down the military, I was a part of that. But you know what? When one door closes, another one opens. So that allowed me to pursue my dream in real estate, which is what I'm doing to this day. And so I've been grinding it out, real estate, day in, day out. You know how it is. Real estate is a hustle, but if you got that hustle muscle, you will succeed,
Oh, I love
So,
that. Hustle muscle. I got a new word today.
yeah, yeah, that hustle muscle, like they say. So 8 out of 10 real estate agents do not renew their license after 1 year. So when you first get your real estate license, it's good for 1 year, and not even 2 years, only 1 year, because they know most agents are going to quit.
I believe
You
that.
know,
Yeah.
a lot of agents, they don't realize this is a business. So business takes hard work. It's not a job. It's a business. That means you're going to work 80 to 90 hours a week for yourself instead of working 40 hours a week for someone else. But you got to hustle it out. You got to make some deals happen. You got to go find business. And if you don't, it's going to be a tough time, and a lot of new agents, when they go 6 months without a paycheck, they throw in the towel, say, oh no, I'm going to go find a job, and so, only the strong survive.
You know, so first of all, let me thank you for your service.
Oh, thank
Um,
you. Thank you for having me.
I think Marines, the military, that anyone that's been through there, it really trained them mentally to be tough, right?
Oh yeah.
And and that's prepare you to be the number one or on the top 1%. You with Keller
Yeah,
Williams now, correct?
for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I know that you are a top producer with Keller Williams. Are you also a top producer in the Houston area?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm ranked in the top 200 agents in Houston out of 45,000 agents. And I'm not happy with that because I need to be number one.
Well,
So that's the goal. I need to be number one in Texas.
but it's not easy to get there. So tell us about that. Tell us about what you do to get there.
Well, first of all, I like to think outside of the box. So I'm very heavy on social media, online advertising, establishing my online presence. I know that social media and being online will allow me to reach a demographic of people that I wouldn't normally be able to reach. Facebook knows everything about all of us, right? So why not use these methods as leverage and as tools to get in front of people that I might not be able to get in front of, especially nowadays during COVID. Everybody's on their phone like this all day long. You got this computer right here,
Yeah.
and everybody's doing this all day long. They're like, scrolling, scrolling, scrolling. So why don't I use that to help get in front of people, build my brand, build my presence, and get attention? I got to get attention, so
Nowadays
that's
I
one
feel like
way.
it's not
Yeah.
water or oxygen that you can't live without. It's the phone that you can't live without.
Oh my God, yes. Somebody without their phone, they're like, I can't breathe. I can't breathe. Where's my phone? And
Yeah.
I've been guilty of that too. Um, so, it's just, this is great tools. Whereas 20 years ago, You could only, you had to do billboard, radio, TV, which is very expensive, by the way. Now you can use, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, all these social media avenues, and that's what I've just been so focused on that the past few years because I know I can get in front of a lot of people.
Well, I know you have a huge huge followers on your social media. So, is that your way of getting deals? How much of that contribute to you being on the top?
Well, there's that's just one method. I mean, deals do definitely come from social media, but also, my sphere of influence, people I've worked with, my past clients who know me and know that I'm passionate and I will go the extra mile. I will tell somebody to walk away from a deal if it doesn't make sense. I treat every transaction like if I am buying the house or I am selling the house, like selling one of my houses. So it really means a lot to me. And when people get to work with me, they know that I'm so serious about this. Yeah, so social media has just been a huge help in that, and then people I know, people who know me, know, like, and trust me, they send me people, they send me referrals. The hardest thing again is just really getting your name out there and being different. I don't want to be the typical real estate agent. I want to be somebody who thinks outside of the box. That's why I've been able to sell properties that, I've been hired as the fourth agent on a property recently that we sold. And before me, she'd been trying to sell this property for the past 8 years. So when they hired me, I know I got to think outside of the box. I got to do something different. I got to be unorthodox. Anybody can put the property on HAR and just wait for the phone to ring. And to me, that's just a big disservice, especially when we have Facebook, especially when I can pay Facebook and tell them, I want you to find me these kinds of people who are looking for this kind of a property, right? And let's get in front of them. Let's get this ad in front of them. Let's get this video in front of them. And so, I just feel humbled and blessed that I'm able to think outside of the box and help people that really need to sell a property.
So let's circle back to your social media because seems like that's something you're very passionate about. Are
I
you
love it.
on Facebook?
Oh, of course.
What else?
Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, Pinterest. And I even started trying TikTok. I'm not as big on TikTok, but I am big on Instagram. Got about 75,000 followers, and we're just getting started. So, I'm creating a movement. I'm bringing some flavor to Houston real estate. Houston real estate has been so lame for so long,
Tell me
and so
about that. Tell us about that. What do you mean by that?
yeah, I want to bring some pizzazz. I want to showcase homes and make it excellent. I do it. It's almost like a reality show. So I do some powerful videos and showcase homes and make it exciting. So that's especially on the luxury side. So I
Mhm.
love selling luxury homes. And in Houston, luxury is the top 10% of any market. So they consider luxury $500,000 or above. I consider it more like about 750,000 and above. But I love, shooting beautiful video walkthroughs, showcasing these homes, showcasing the positives, the architecture, the finishes. What is special about these properties? Every property has something special about it. Well, most of them, right? But most of them has something special about it and something that not so special. Every property has positives and negatives. So I love showcasing this and then bringing it to you on Facebook. Not waiting for you to come find me on HAR, on HAR. I want to come find you on Facebook or on Twitter or whatever is your preference. LinkedIn. I have some people who are on LinkedIn, but they're not on Facebook. So I got to bring the flavor to you where it's right in front of you. And you say, wow, this is nice. Oh, I have somebody who would love this house. My brother, uncle, sister, cousin, and then you can send them to me and I can connect with you. And this buyer that wasn't even looking for this house, I can bring it to you before you even knew that you needed it. And that's what I love about social media. That's one of many things I love about social media.
So you very proactive.
Yes, absolutely. If I can add another thing, social media, it condenses the time frame. So if I meet somebody at a networking event, I go to one of Eddie Gant's networking events and I
Yeah.
meet somebody, right?
Yeah.
We exchange numbers, we exchange business cards. Now I'm going to start to get to know them. It's going to take me months, maybe years before I feel like I know this person. I know their wife, I know their kids or something. That takes years.
Yeah.
But on Facebook, we become friends on Facebook and it condenses the time frame in weeks. I know about them, about their children, about what they like to do. They like to go fishing, hiking, skiing, scuba diving, whatever. So there have been so many times I can't tell you that I've been somewhere and someone says, "Oh, Morad Fiki, how's it going, man?" This and that. They feel like they know me because of social media. That is powerful. Before social media, like I said, it takes you years to get to know someone, and so this condenses the time frame.
It sounds like I need to take a social media class from you.
Yeah, my wife is saying that I need to start a class, and I'm like, with what time, right? But
Right. It's
but
too
yeah,
busy
no, I
doing
mean,
deals.
yeah, it's powerful, and I want to harness that leverage to our benefit. So,
So you use social media as a tool for you to get more deals, to get in front of more people.
oh yes.
How did you transition from being in the Navy and whatnot and now going into real estate? What challenges did you face and how did you overcome those challenges to rise to the top where you are today? This episode is brought to you by Buzz Vacation Rentals, a premier property management company in Houston and Galveston area. Give Buzz a call at 281 549 8432 to learn more about their rent guarantee program or check out their website at listwithbuzz.com. Now, back to the Real Estate Baller Show.
I would definitely say my hard work ethic because yeah, those first few months, if not years, in real estate are very tough. You know, uh, every time someone tells me, "Oh man, I'm gonna go get my real estate license," I tell them, "Are you willing to work 80, 90 hours a week? Are you willing to keep going when you have no deals in the pipeline?" It takes a fortitude, and that's just being in business in general. That's why 4 out of 5 businesses do not make it 5 years. It takes a fortitude, a mental fortitude. Tony Robbins says if you are an entrepreneur, you are a warrior, you are a gladiator, because you have to keep going when it doesn't look like
Yep.
it's working out. In real estate school, they say, "Oh, I hope you have 6 months of expenses saved up to get through those first 6 months." And I think that is like ridiculous. I think it's more like
Is
two
that what
years.
they said? I can't
Yeah.
remember.
Yeah, they say, "Oh, I hope you have 6 months of expenses." Man, I would say like you need like 2 years, and not that, hey, if you don't have this, don't try it. But I mean, you just need to have that. You need to have that understanding that this is a business. How many businesses? How long does it take for a business to even break even?
Mm-hmm.
You have all this upfront investment.
Mm-hmm.
And in real estate, I would say it's your time.
Yeah.
So what has allowed me to be success is I will outwork anybody. There's nobody in Houston, Texas that is going to outwork me. And I have, grinded and I've learned and made mistakes. And, you know, if I could go back now, the first step that I did when I hired a transaction coordinator to handle all of my paperwork, I regret not doing that sooner. I should have done that maybe a year or two before I actually did it, because that freed up a lot of my time where I can go get more deals
Mm-hmm.
and go hustle. So um it's just little things like that. It's losing that lack mentality. Oh, I got to pay for this, but now I'm getting my time back
Yeah.
and I can focus on what's most important, which is building my business, building my brand. And then,
Yeah.
same like with social media, I should have started way sooner than I did. I did start, but I didn't really know how powerful social media was to help me build a brand and build my name and get
Mm-hmm.
out there.
Mm-hmm.
So I would have started that way sooner. But
Okay.
I think that's just the keys to success is just I will outwork anybody.
That's it. I think you just nailed it. there's a lot of smart people, right? But I think the one that work harder come out on
Yeah,
top.
yeah. Hard work and discipline will beat talent every single day of the week. If you're willing to work hard, put your head down, grind, and never quit and do whatever it takes, that will beat talent. Because I've seen so many talented people who are quitters. When it gets tough, they quit. And there's a great book called 3 Feet from Gold. They quit 3 feet from gold. They quit right before you hit the milestone. And I'm sure we all know the certain people that are uh, they never finish anything. They start this, it doesn't work out. Okay, now I'm gonna start something else. Now I'm gonna start something else. And jack of all trades is master of none. If
Yeah.
you're gonna do everything, you never master anything. And
And I
so,
thought that would make my resume look good, being jack of all trades.
now you can do many things, but you want to make sure you master something and then start the next thing,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
you want to become very good, because when you're very good, that's why the top 20%, I'm sure we've heard of the Pareto principle, the 80-20 principle.
Yeah.
The top 20% do all 80% of all the business.
Right.
In real estate, I would say it's even better. I would say the top 10% of all agents do 90% of all the business.
Okay.
Did you know that 95% of all the members of HAR, the Houston Association of Realtors, 95% of the agents do either last year did either 0 or 1 transaction all year long.
Well, if you put some number to that, because so let's say Houston median price is what, three? Are we at 325? Or are we at two, still below two?
And so the median sales price in October was 266,000, and the
Okay.
average sales price, single family sales price, 334,000. We'll just say 335.
Okay. Okay. So if you take 3% of that for commissions and then having to pay their broker and all that, they don't
Yeah,
make much. That's not may not even be enough to cover their license expenses.
exactly. And that's what, that's the thing. People think that, they say, "Oh, Morad, you make it look so easy," but they don't see all the grind behind the scenes. There is no get rich quick scheme. That is a lie. That's a scam. The get rich plan is hard work and discipline and focus. That is the get rich. So, sales price, after all the expenses, and not just that, you got to pay Uncle Sam. Uncle Sam's going to get his cut.
Mm-hmm.
Believe me. The IRS will take their piece first, right?
Yep. Yep.
So when it's all said and done, you're not making that much money. You have to have multiple deals in the pipeline.
Yep.
So that's what a lot of people don't understand. They think, "Oh, you're making 3%, you're making all this money." Not really. When you pay for marketing, I spend a lot of money on marketing, and I love it. I'm so excited that I can advertise online and get my name out there and get my houses out there, my listings out there. So spending a lot of money on advertising and then paying Uncle Sam, you know, you start cutting the pie into many pieces. It's not much that we really make on every deal, on each deal. So,
Well, so yes, we have to spend money to make money, right? That's any
oh yeah,
business. But the beautiful thing about real estate is you have a low barrier of entry. So you actually invest a lot of your time in the beginning or upfront or whatnot instead of having to spend a lot of money.
yeah.
Would you? Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's the thing. I was telling my wife that because like we spend a lot of money on advertising and marketing, but um the startup cost is very low. And I
Right.
told her that. I'm like, do you know if you start a McDonald's franchise, like you're in it for $500,000 at least,
Right.
maybe 750 or $1 million before you've sold one burger.
Right.
Like
And you got to
that's the
have a million
upfront
dollar
investment.
in liquid asset or
Yeah.
right.
Oh yeah, that's the upfront investment. So how many
Right.
burgers do you need to sell before you can recoup
Yeah.
your $500,000 or $750,000 investment to open one franchise?
Yep. Yep.
It's a lot of burgers. So it takes a few years before you break even, before you get that investment back, and now you're making a profit. So the barrier to entry is very low, and that's why everyone gets a license and thinks like, "Oh, I'm just gonna get my real estate license and get rich.
Right.
That's all I have to do."
Right.
But when they see the hard work, and when those first few months go by and there's nothing coming in,
Mm-hmm.
like, oh.
Oh, I have to
Okay,
work
this
now.
isn't like a job. Yeah, this is a business. You got to go get some business.
Uh-huh.
So
So, besides social media, what are some other tools that you use in your business?
um we definitely, so we take very high quality resolution photography and videography. So I have a videographer who follows me around. We do walkthrough, we shoot the house, and then but I add other things. I don't just show houses. I think it's so boring when you're just showing a house. I go to restaurants. I go, I was driving a Lamborghini in one of my videos. It's pretty awesome.
That's
you know
cool.
I got out of a Rolls Royce, the new Rolls Royce Ghost, which I will say is an amazing car. I got that in some of my videos. So add flavor. I want to make my videos exciting so that people want to see them and look forward to them.
Mm-hmm.
Also networking. Networking is a very good tool. I've networked, but again, a lot of real estate agents, when they ask me, oh, networking doesn't work. I went to this event the other day and no business came from it. So that tells me they don't understand networking. You cannot network and go to an event one time and think that's networking. Networking is consistency,
Yep.
consistently going twice a month or every other week or at least once a month, but over time. Because again, now, networking is getting to know people. You
Yep.
don't go to a networking event one time and then you're like, hey, nothing happened. All these deals didn't fall on my face. So it didn't work.
Well, you
That's not
can't expect
realistic.
to meet somebody once and then they want to do, I mean, big transactions with you. That just doesn't
Yeah,
happen.
these transactions are delicate and they require trust.
Right.
And you don't build trust with someone if it was the first night you met them, right?
Right.
It takes time, and you got to get to see people again and again and again, and meet for lunch and meet for happy hour and get to know them. And that's what builds trust. And then they could refer you to their friend or cousin or sister or uncle. So that's some of the advice I give to new agents. It's that if you're going to network, you need to pick something you like, whatever that may be. If you like, shooting guns, or you like riding horses, or you like whatever political party, go find what you like, and then you go network, and it's not going to feel like a hassle, because you're finding people that you have a common interest with, and you already have something in common, and now it's going to be easier to network. And I also tell people, don't go to something you don't like, because it's going to be obvious. You're going to get called out,
Uh-huh.
like, you're not one of us. So find
Yeah.
something you like that you enjoy, and then go network with people, but consistently network.
Right.
Yeah,
Consistently. That's the key word, doing it consistently.
consistently.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Work your neighborhood. I tell new agents, work your neighborhood. Wherever you live, people want to do business with someone who lives in the same neighborhood. You're one of a kind. You're the same,
Right.
birds of a feather flock together. So work your neighborhood. Let everyone know. Secret agents are broke agents. So in real estate, the only secret agents that make money are in the CIA. Okay.
Secret
So
agents are broke agent. Oh, I love
yeah,
that.
secret agents are broke agents, because people are like, oh, especially new agents. Well, I'm kind of embarrassed to tell people I'm a real estate agent. Well, then you must like being broke, because you're going to be broke. It's going to be a struggle. If you're a secret agent, you have to go join the CIA. Those are the only secret agents that make money.
Well, I mean, if you're embarrassed to tell people about what you do, then maybe you're not proud of it,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Or you don't really believe in what you're doing.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, you gotta be your biggest believer.
Yeah, and how are you gonna get someone to trust you and believe in you if you don't believe in yourself?
You went from again military to real estate to be an agent,
Yeah.
and now you getting into investing,
Oh,
real estate
absolutely.
investing.
The only way I can really be a baller, a real estate baller, is by investing, because I work with a lot of investors and they make a lot of money, right? So yeah, I mean, investing's been great. I've done a few flips, a few fix and flips, but now I'm starting to get into new development. We're building 5 houses in West Columbia, Texas. There's a beautiful retirement community in West Columbia. It's called Columbia Lakes. It's on the golf course, just about half an hour south of Pearland.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people just move out there to be away from the city and have a
Mm-hmm.
peace of mind. Yet, if you want to come to Houston, it's only 45 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
so it's not too bad. So we're building in there, and I'm getting into multifamily to build that passive income, that residual cash flow. It's very important that we take our earnings and we invest them. And when I invest in real assets like real estate, unlike the stock market, real estate values are not going to get cut in half overnight unless there's a hurricane or Hurricane Harvey that floods out the property,
Mm-hmm.
or a tornado knocks down the property. Then, yeah, it can get cut half in value. And for that, we have insurance,
Right, right.
right? So, I mean, it's a relatively safer asset. Whereas, in the stock market, you get some bad news. There's a coronavirus. The stock market got cut in half overnight
Mm-hmm.
when coronavirus started coming to the States. I mean, we
Yep.
all remember that.
Yep.
So, it's very hard to do that in real estate. So, and I'm not saying don't invest in stocks. I'm not an investment advisor. You pick your own investments. I have stocks and I have real estate, but it's very important to build that passive cash flow where you put it into, say an apartment complex. And now every single month, I'm letting that money work for me and pay me every month,
Mm-hmm.
instead of, having to get up and hustle to make those ends. I still do that, but it's good to get that passive cash flow as well.
See, that's another mentality, good mentality or mindset that you have. You don't do anything small. It's like go big or go home.
Oh yeah, hell yeah. Go big or go home. I believe that I was put here for a purpose, and I really want to leave a legacy for my kids and give them the opportunities that I didn't have growing up, and take it to the next level. I really am a huge believer in building a very big business, and so that's just what I've been working on for the past few years, and we're going to take it to the next level. We only got started. So this is only the beginning. I'm so excited about 2021 and 2022.
Yeah, let's talk about that a little bit. This the market is very, very hot right now.
Oh yeah.
So tell us about that.
Yeah, man, it's just incredible. So I pulled up the stats from November, and when we
Yeah.
compare the data, we
Mm-hmm.
compare with 1 year ago.
Mm-hmm.
So when we look at November 2020 to November 2019,
Mm-hmm.
we see sales have increased. Total property sales are up right now, 28.1%. That is incredible. Dollar volume, we went from 2.1 billion and sold in November of 2019 to 3.1 billion. That's an additional billion with a B in volume. So that's a 43%, 43.9% increase. Active listings are down by 27%. So that means if you want to sell your house right now is a great time because you have less competition. Sales are up. Demand is up. And what's fueling that? The all-time record low interest rates
Mm-hmm.
are making a lot of buyers get in the market right now as opposed to waiting a year. So that's huge. Right now is a great time to sell, especially with low inventory. So you're going to get a record price instead of waiting. You get a record price now. So I just feel honored that I'm able to serve at this high level during this crazy time of 2020.
Well, I'll tell you, I just had a property we just bought, and it went live last night, and we got a cash offer like within an hour.
Oh, I believe it.
What are some of the key things that you want to share with the audience today?
Just stay positive, and you know what? If the situation you have right now is not what you would like it to be, and that right now is a great time to make a major change. Get into that business that you've been wanting to do, or whatever it is. That new job that you wanted, or it's a great time to make a change.
So, do you think what we do is competitive? Your what you do, your business?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. It's a very competitive. I mean, you have 44,000 real estate agents in Houston. And as you know, too, investors, I'm sure you go talk to a seller and there's like 3 or 4 more investors coming behind you, you know? So
So how do you
pretty
stay?
competitive.
How do you maintain your edge? How do you?
Oh, I would say doing what nobody else is doing. What I'm doing in Houston real estate, nobody else is doing. I can tell you that right now. So, keeping it fresh, keeping it flavorful, bringing the heat, bringing the pizzazz to Houston real estate. Nobody's been doing it for so long. Houston luxury real estate has been dominated by a few players who are just used to the old school mentality. They just do the same old thing over and over and over again. So I bring that new school mentality, that fresh flavor to Houston real estate, and nobody's doing what I'm doing, especially taking charge on social media. So that's how I keep my edge, and I got to keep it going. So I got to always stay on top of what's new, and how can I add that to Houston real estate.
So where do you go to find the new things?
Where do I go? Well, I stay on top of the technology. Facebook. I have mentors, coaches who use social media at the very highest level. Inman News is really good. They're always, I don't know if you know Inman, but Inman always puts
Mhm.
out the latest, greatest technology. I went to a technology conference called Future with RE in large letters. So Future of Real Estate. It was what it
Mhm.
was called. It was in Vegas.
Mhm.
That was last year. And so I went to that. Obviously, there's not as much travel right now, but I went to that conference to see, and there were about 50 or 60 new vendors who had apps and different things for real estate, and they had like 1 minute to pitch it to the room, and they would go against each other. It was really cool. So I like to invest my time in these types of avenues to see what is the latest greatest thing that I could use in my business.
So if you have to narrow it down to like one thing that the audience can take away from your message today, what would that be?
In every moment of darkness there is light, but will you find the light, or will you mope with everyone else? And that's what I say to that. Every moment of darkness there is a light. So it was during difficult times that some of the greatest inventions in the world were found.
That's
So
that's very profound.
yeah, I tell everybody, stay positive, stay focused, and just figure out how to overcome the obstacle, not get overweighed by it.
Okay, so this is the questions that I ask every guest I invite on the show. What's your favorite hobby?
Oh wow, my favorite hobby. I love skiing. I love skiing. We've been going skiing every year for the past few years. We're probably going to skip it this year, which is a little bit sad, but we might go in March. I think ski season is still going during spring break. That's probably towards the end. I love skiing. Absolutely love it. I mean, I just have so much fun coming down the slopes and down the mountains. I also like scuba diving, and I haven't been scuba diving in a while. So scuba diving in the summertime, skiing in the wintertime.
Oh, wonderful. Do you do the black, the diamond, the blue?
Oh
What?
yeah, I'm not up there yet. I do the blues.
Okay.
But I'm gonna be working my way up. Those blacks are like, oh my gosh, like 90 degrees,
Yeah,
death angle. Like, what is happening here?
I'm a snowboarder.
Oh, nice. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
but
took
I'm still on
skiing.
a
I like to face the mountain, but that's cool.
yeah, I'm still on the bunny slope though. Oh,
Snowboarding is tough because, like, how do you like slow down?
well, I think you either a skier or a snowboarder, right?
Yeah, yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
So how does the audience get in touch with you?
Yeah, I would just tell everybody, hit me up on Instagram at morad.fiki. Or you can also hit me on the website, houstonluxuryrealestate.com, the number one real estate for luxury homes in Houston. It's connected to the MLS, so it's updates just like the MLS. You can get the latest, greatest luxury homes on houstonluxuryrealestate.com. Hit me up there, or hit me on Instagram, morad.fiki, or you can call the office 832-610-4290. And I'm very happy to be of service. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, that is all for today's episode of the Real Estate Ballers. Thanks for watching, and thank you, Morad, for joining me today. Don't forget to visit our website at REBallers.com to learn more about us. If you found value in this show, we appreciate a thumb up, or if you simply tell a friend about us, that would help too. And please hit that subscribe button so you never miss another show. We'll see you again in 2 weeks.